What is going down, my PD peeps? It's your boy here, in the flesh, hanging out with you guys one more again on this beautiful Wednesday evening. Welcome to the PowerDirector Q&A. I am your man, Malik, and I'll be hanging out with you guys for the next hour from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, answering your questions, hanging out with you guys, just talking with the PowerDirector community, chopping it up, and doing what we do. So, I want to start off by giving mad shout-outs to the people who have joined me in the chat room right now. So, we're going to start off with my head moderator in charge, Peter Milner, who says, good evening, Malik and everyone. I'm calling from a wet and very windy UK. How are we all doing this week? Hey, Peter, thank you for joining us. Doing great this week, my friend. Hey, I also want to give you a shout out, Peter. Thank you for joining us during the live stream on my other channel that I had on Saturday. So appreciate you stopping through and dropping some knowledge around climate change and electric vehicles and all that stuff that's going on over there in the UK versus over here in the States. So thank you, Peter, for always lending your expertise and your knowledge to the conversation on multiple channels. I appreciate you, my man. We also got my girl Sue in the building. Hello from San Diego. Very hot and dry here, 95 plus. It's crazy over here, Sue. So, we got it. It's been over 100 degrees in Texas. It's 97 right now. It's 8 o'clock at night and it's 97 degrees outside in San Antonio, Texas. So, what can I say? Texas, we supposed to be used to the heat, but it's out of control. It's crazy over here. Now, we got Ghoul in the house. He says, hi. So, I'm starting to use PowerDirector for short films. And in my recent one, I'm having trouble with audio not staying the same throughout the different angles as I have used the clip audio each angle. So there's a few different things that I could think of right now. So it really depends on how you are setting up your project. So if you're using a bunch of different cameras with different audio, then what I really suggest that you do is try to sync all of the audio together. Use one audio file, your best audio, and then sync that with all the other audio. If you have like an audio recorder, that would be great. Where you can just, record your audio separately. Or, if you have a camera that has a really good XLR inputs, you can record on that and use that maybe as your main audio. It's really up to you. But if you got like multiple cameras or different angles and stuff like that, I really suggest you sync your audio up. Now, if you're using like different cameras that have different types of frame rate, and what I mean by that is if one camera uses constant frame rate and another camera, like a phone, or maybe you're recording something from like a computer screen or something like that. And if the other camera uses variable frame rates, if you mix constant frame rate and variable frame rate, you'll have slippage. So basically what variable frame rate does is the frame rate is not constant. It's not always the same. It changes trying to keep your file size small. So if you have variable frame rate, you start to have slippage and your audio actually is lagging behind at a certain point. So that could be what's happening. It could be a bunch of different stuff. So really set up your project, try to sync your audio. If you're using something that has variable frame rate, you can use a program like Handbrake to change it from variable frame rate to constant frame rate. And then if you do that, everything should align. My girl Pollyanna is here from Pennsylvania. She says, we are beginning our cool heat wave. Compared to the West, it was 90 today. It will be in the 90s for the next few days. 90 is still hot to me, Pollyanna. I'm telling you. I can't deal with the heat. Pollyanna is also another person been checking out some of my videos on my other channel with my podcast. So thank you, Pollyanna, for doing that too. You know, Philly, got mad love for Philly. So Steve is in the building. What's going on, Steve? Steve says very wet and windy down here in the southwest of the UK. Peter says the simplest method is to normalize the audio across the various tracks and clips. So if you're talking about the when you say the audio is not staying the same, if you're talking about the levels, then yes, normalizing the audio will help you keep it the same throughout the different clips. It'll keep the volume the same throughout. If you got different clips with different volume, you can normalize and it should take care of that for you. Reality Design 1 is back. Haven't seen you in a minute. Thanks for joining us again. We missed you, girl. We missed you. All right. Eric Blackwell says, my PD is up to date on a pretty good gaming tower computer. Has quit making shadow files for multicam projects. Can't find any old shadow files to delete. Any ideas? Not really. I mean, if you have shadow files enabled and it, you know, the system is not creating them, there's not really any reason I could think of as to why that would be, especially if you have it enabled. Kind of strange. I mean, the only thing I could think of is like, what is the resolution of the native codecs that you're using? Is it like standard definition? I would doubt it. I mean, I would think it's at least HD, and it should then be creating them. So not sure. Not really any idea on that one. That might be one for the PowerDirector forum. Maybe you go to the PowerDirector forum and ask about it there, and someone might be able to help you out with that, Eric. Anthony is in the building, says howdy from San Antonio, Texas. A fellow San Antonian in the house. What's going on, Andy? Or Anthony, I'm sorry. Nice to have you as a participant in the live stream. Good to see a fellow San Antonian in the building. Yeah, if you're using 1080, so you're using HD, I would think that it would still create shadow files. I'm not really sure, like I said, not really sure why it's not creating them at all for you, because it should. Pollyanna said, what is a shadow file? So a shadow file is a proxy file. It's basically a lower resolution file that you can use to edit while you're editing instead of using the high definition or the 4K files. So if you want to be able to have a smoother editing experience, some people enable shadow files so that they can actually preview and see everything with the lower resolution, which makes it easier to add effects and edit. It makes the whole experience smoother. But then when you actually produce the file, it does not use the shadow files. It uses your native regular file, like your HD or your 4K resolution file, to create the finished video. So it basically, shadow files or proxy files are being used while editing, and then your full resolution file is being used when you produce. Peter says, if it has quit making shadow files, it's either they are not enabled in preferences or else there is an issue in the location they're being saved to. Check permissions and folder structure. Yes, thank you, Peter. And Peter says to try using a 4K clip from iStock or anything else that you got and see what happens. Anthony said maybe there's not enough disk space for the shadow files. It's another good option there and something else to check on. Good point. Cyber editing is in the building. Give me some thumbs up. Little cool emoji. What's up, cyber editing? Chilling out with us. If I remember, from Taiwan, right? Beautiful place. I want to go there one day. I keep saying that. I got to ride first class if I'm going to do this, though. Eric said thank you to everyone. So hopefully Eric gets some help from the team, and maybe he gets it all figured out. All right, so we got my man MB. MB, what's up? Says good evening, everyone. What's up, MB? Thanks for joining us and hanging out for another live stream. And we got Tennis Sir says, thank you for making your live videos. You're welcome. Waves of the World says, when will they add new camera codecs? I'm so tired of having to use Handbrake to convert my files in order to edit them. I'm be tired of that too if I was you. But I don't know the answer to that question. But what I will tell you is this. It's a decision, it's up to them. Figure out if they want to pay for the license for the codecs that you're speaking of. So, there's a lot of different codecs out there, man. Whole lot of them. And like I said, you got to pay for the license if you want to go ahead and use it. So there's certain companies out there that charge an arm and a leg for their application or their program or their video editing service or whatever you want to call it. And maybe they can afford to have those licenses because they charge so much. Maybe Cyberlink, may not be cheap, but it's less than some of those other programs out there that have the capability to pay for all of those different licenses for all those different codecs. So I'm not trying to give them an excuse, because I would like to have all the codecs too. I shoot most of my footage on in RAW, so I have to use another editor to convert it myself. Now I don't use Handbrake. I use DaVinci Resolve, and then I go ahead and convert that RAW footage to a MOV file that is compatible with PowerDirector, so I can edit it on PowerDirector. But it's up to the developer to determine if they want to go ahead and pay for a license to have those additional codecs. And like I said, I don't work for Cyberlink, so I can't tell you when they're going to do it. But I would love it if they would do it too. I would love it if they would enable the capability to edit RAW files and things like that. So there's a whole lot of things I would love it that they would do. But I'm a nobody, just a little guy in my own little world, making videos about PowerDirector on YouTube, and that's it. Max Movie Magic says, hi, I'm having a problem. I had a canvas that shut down, but then I was able to resave and restore after clicking it. But when the same thing happens to different cameras, it takes me back. Solutions. So I'm not sure I get your question. Let's see. And I also see here that you said you emailed Cyberlink about it and not answering your questions. Kind of annoying. I don't even know if I can answer your question. I might be annoying you right now because I don't really know what the heck you're trying to say, my friend. Let me pull this up again. Oh, that was Waves of Magic. So that's a different one here. This is a different one here. I'm having a problem. I had a canvas that shut down. A canvas that shut down. What is that? What is a canvas that shut down? I don't know. You talk about a project shut down on you or what? And I was able to resave and restore after clicking in. But when the same thing happens to a different canvas, it takes me back. Solutions. But then I was able to resave and restore after clicking in. But when the same thing happens to a different canvas, it takes me back. Solutions. I'm not sure what you're saying. I think what you're saying is you had a project shut down and you were able to resave and restore. So it sounds like you got the project back from what you're saying. But then what I'm confused is you're saying the same thing happens to a different one and it takes you back. So you're getting it back either way. You're always getting back to what you saved. It sounds to me like you're saying you're always getting the project back. But so I'm confused on what you're asking me. Tech Diving Thailand says, sometimes I accidentally put a video file on the same track as videos are on already. Normally PowerDirector says move files right over and right, but when I have made mistakes and put one video, it's supposed to always ask you, like if you place a video over another one, if you want to overwrite it or if you want to move it over. So it should always ask you that. If it's not asking you that, then I would probably contact support because it's supposed to ask you that if you try to overlay video like that. Tennessee says, have you ever edited 8K? No, I have not edited 8K. Let's see. Peter says, Cyberlink products in general were once purely in the customer domain. It's only in the last few years that they've described themselves as a professional grade editing solutions, which is true, I mean, if they're going to say they're professional though, maybe they should have those additional codecs, but then I'm afraid of like the more that they add, sometimes I get afraid that they're going to start raising the price exponentially because they're adding a lot of stuff, as you guys can tell, but I guess if they add more professional features, then there might actually be a chance that they will add the price, that they will raise the price. Carol's in the house. Carol says, good evening, all. I have good news. I've been uploading to YouTube. Thank you so much. Yay, Carol. That is fantastic news. I guess our little convo last week might have helped you out. Glad that we were able to help you, man. Matt says, sorry if question is confusing. When I have a canvas shut down and I re-click to resave, it keeps taking me back to the first canvas mentioned. Okay, so it shuts down. Your project shut. You keep saying canvas, and I'm confused. I guess a canvas is a project. So your project shuts down. Okay. Then you said you re-click to resave and restore. So when you open it, it might ask you, hey, you had a project open. Would you like to open that project again? And you say yes. And then it takes you back to the first project. So it should take you back to the project that you closed. If it's taking you back before that, like a version before the one that shut down, like before the saves that you made, then what it's probably doing is it's using your last auto save, right? So if you made some changes and you have your auto save set up to be like 10 minutes apart or something, then it might not have those last changes that you made. So what I would say to do, let's see if we can bring this onto the screen here. So there's an autosave setting that I think is what your issue is. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what you're asking, but I'm thinking that you're saying, hey, your project shut down. You opened it back up. It said, hey, I think this was your last project. Do you want me to open it? And you say yes. And some of the changes that you made aren't in there. Well, that's probably because you did not save it or your autosave is like far apart. So you can change that. If you go to your user preferences up here and you go to, let's see, editing. Editing. Nope. File. So still not in the right place. Dang it. Project. So, sorry. Go to preferences, go to project. So under project, it'll have here auto save project every whatever. So if it's set to like 100 minutes here, I mean, you're probably not going to get all the changes. Or even me, I have it set to 5 minutes. So if it were to shut down on me and open, it might have changes from the last save. And the last save could have been a minute ago. It could have been as much as 5 minutes ago. So maybe you need to look at your auto save and maybe change it to 2 minutes. That's the lowest you can go. It's 2 minutes, right? And then it'll actually save a copy of your project every 2 minutes. And then if it does shut down on you and you open it back up, it should be no more, the changes that you have should be no more than 2 minutes ago. Okay? So I'm thinking that's what you're asking me, and that's what I would say to try first. All right. Anthony says, oh, I have a question. My PD opens and always thinks it's an unsaved project that I want to recover, but I don't. Any suggestions to stop that from happening? Well, I would say that it only should be doing that based on how you're closing out PowerDirector. So if you're like in the middle of a project and you're like, you save it and you just close it with that project still in there, that might be what's happening. And maybe it's just reading that, hey, you had a project open and now it wants to see if you want to open that up again. Even if you if you select new project, I would think that it wouldn't do that, but it must be about the way that you're opening it, because if you open up PowerDirector, it should have the splash screen. And when that splash screen comes up, if you select new project, it shouldn't be asking you to open up the last project that you closed, unless it's reading that you closed the project unexpectedly. Like, and usually that's just closing it out while you still have your project up. You could have saved it or whatever. Maybe you, when you're done, save your project and then do file new project, and it'll take everything out away from there, but you'll have your saved project already, and then try closing it and see if that works. Yep. And Peter basically just said the same thing. That you mean project and then change your auto save. Yep. Talia says, do you know if there are plans to add captions to the mobile app? Let me see here. I know I asked them about that before. Let me see. Just looking up something real quick here. So the thing is, they have captions, but right now it's only on iOS. So I guess when you ask that question, you're asking if they have a plan to add it to Android. Because if you look here, you can see on my other channel, PowerDirector app tutorials, there is auto captions that they have for PowerDirector app, but right now it's just iOS. And when I reached out to them and asked them about it, their response was that iOS is just easier for the developers to add new things to. And Android, it takes longer for them to do some of the things that they can do in the iOS platform. So their response to me was that everything that they're doing on iOS will be done on Android as well. It just takes longer. Now, I don't know how long they talking about because this video is like 7 months old. This happened 7 months ago, and they still don't have it on Android. So I don't know what type of message that sends to the user. Like if you on Android and you're like, man, they didn't had it on iOS for 7 months. When's it coming to Android? I don't know if that's shows that they're not really working as diligently at getting it on Android as they are for iOS. Some people have said that they think like PowerDirector is trying to, compete with LumaFusion on iOS, and they're focused on that. So I don't know. I can't tell you when they're going to add it or how long it's going to take to add it, but I'm guessing you're asking about Android because the auto caption feature is already on iOS. All right, let's see. Peter says, we had this debate some time ago on 8K footage. There comes a limit in which the human eye can see. I think 4 or 6K is probably the limit. And I would agree. That's probably why I don't even see a need to do 8K just yet. Maybe that changes in the future, but I don't know. Matt says, hi, sorry. Basically, when the same thing happens to a different editing project and I click to save and restore, it keeps taking me back to the first project I mentioned, even though it was fixed. Yeah, I don't know. If it's jumping back a whole nother project, I have no idea, man. I can't even call it. Chris is in the building. Chris says that he's tuning in. What's going on, Chris? Thanks for joining me, my man. Peter says, clear the cache. Delete your temporary files. It's the most dangerous but best solution to your persistent unsaved project problem. Yeah. It sucks having to delete all your cache because everything, you got to build that stuff back up, speed up everything again. Sue says, I use autosave, but after I do something that took some time, I hit the save button to top just to be sure. Yep. I always use save as. And the reason why is because it's better to save as a different version just in case something is corrupt or something like that. So if you have files in here, like I do file, I don't do save project. I always use save as. And like the first one, I'll call it like, pick one. And then I'll hit save. And then after I do some more editing, yada, 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 whenever I feel like, hey, it's been a while since I saved the project myself to have a good point, or maybe I'll do something and I'm like, oh, this is a good point for me to save it just in case something happens. Then I'll do file. And I'll do save project as. And this time I'll do pick 2 or whatever the name of my project is. I'll put 2 and I'll save that. And then I'll keep editing, yada, yada, yada. I'll do the same thing. Like, oh, this is a good time for me to save again. I'll do file, save project as, and I'll give it the next number, right? Version 3. I hit save. And so that's how I save as I'm working. I also have, as you saw, I have my autosave set to 5 minutes. So it's always going to be saving. in the different location that is set up for those save files. So if you go to your user preferences, you go to project, it shows where your autosave files are. If I hit browse and hit OK, you'll, oops, sorry, not even in there. You'll see it has the autosave folder right here where the autosaves are at. And I could go there and show you, but I'm not going to do it right now. At the end of the day, it tells you exactly where to go to get there. But the reason why I do save as, like I said, in case something goes wrong with any of the other files, I have different versions saved to the machine. So I don't have to start all over. Let's say I'm going here and I'm working on these and I try to open this one and it's corrupt. Like, I'm like, uh-oh. Well, let me try version 2. Or I tried version 3 and I'm like, oh, it's corrupt. Something happened. It's not working anymore. I might say, well, let me go back to version 2. At least I don't have to start all over again because now I have version 2, right? And let's say I can open that one up, but I couldn't open up version 3. At least I'm not starting from scratch. So that's why I do save as and give it a different name. If you just do file and save, it's just going to save over your last file, right? And saving over your last file might be okay as long as nothing happens to you. Kind of like haven't built in any redundancy to your project. It's just like one file that you're saving over and over and over again. And if something happens to that one file, everything's lost. So I do save as instead. Talia says, yes, I need to add it to Android. I didn't know they had it for iOS. I have to generate my captions on another app and wish I could do everything in PD. Thanks for the information. You're welcome, Talia. I mean, if you ever need to know anything about Android or iOS, go to my other channel, PowerDirector app tutorials. So that's where you will find all of my app tutorials on that channel. So you said, isn't it about time that PD22 came out? So PD22 is probably going to come out in September. It's usually late August, sometime in September. As a matter of fact, you can usually find like the release dates. If you just Google, let's see. They usually have the version history. Yeah. Can't find a really good source here. Got a bunch of different patches on here and things like that, but it's not really giving me like a good look at the different version dates. Yeah. They used to have a site on here where I was able to go and just get like all of the different dates that all the PowerDirector versions came out. I mean, there is some stuff out there. Like if I look at this, kind of goes to like, it'll tell you here, version 14, like September 2015. Then you go to the first version 15 that's on here, September 2016. Then you go to the first version 16. Guess what? September. And then you go to the verse 17. Oh, September. And then kind of like PowerDirector 17 was the first time that 365 came out. Right. And I guess after version 365 came out, which came out in August. So that was the outlier there. So PowerDirector 18 came out in August of 2019. But since then, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure all the other versions that came out have been in September. So September, like I said, late August, September is the best bet. It's usually September that it comes out. Reality Design hooked me up with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate the love. You know, every little bit helps. So I appreciate your support. While we're talking about support up in her, I got like a few people in the room right now. So I'm expecting if I go over here and I look at this video that I see a bunch of likes. So I'm wondering how many likes I have right now. Let's see. If you haven't hit the like button, I think you need to go ahead and do that before I check. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I got 14 likes, and I know I got more than 14 people up in here. So, do me a favor. Hit that thumb, the one that's pointed up. Okay, I got 15 likes now, so that's good. So, somebody's listening. Somebody is getting with the program. Hit that like button, because I need the likes. Like a rat needs cheese. And plus, likes, all those do is send a signal to YouTube that this content is worth them promoting. So that next time I do a live stream, something like that, maybe it'll go out to more of our subscribers, more of our community, and they'll join us in this chat-a-lat thing that we doing. So if you have not hit that thumb, the one that's like this, hit that thumb for me, all right? So Steve has been blocked from the chat for some strange reason. It wasn't me, Steve. I ain't do nothing. I'm just here, bruh. I don't know what you did. Maybe YouTube's having some issues with you, but, you know, I hope not. I hope everything's good. You know, it sounds to me like everything is. Peter's good. You know, I'm wondering, bruh, what you doing over there? Oh, okay, it came back to life. Might have been user error, brother. I'm just saying, you know, you never know, my brother. The Binding Builder hit me up with the 20 twin super chat. Appreciate the love from the Binding Builder. She says, performing cuts. When I'm shortening clips by doing simple cuts, many times PD will put 12 frames of the same image. So when I'm reviewing, it's like there's, I guess it's like a freeze or something, probably like a freeze frame or whatever is what it's kind of showing up as. If it's like 12 frames of the same image, it's like, depending on what your frame rate is, if you're like at 24 frames per second, it would be like a half second of a freeze frame or something like that. So, you're just doing regular simple cuts, huh? Like when you do a cut, first thing I would say is you might want to check your timeline, stretch it out, see like how many frames you can see, and see like when you cut, like if you're just doing a split and a cut, you're doing control T, and you're cutting out the footage and bringing it together. Shouldn't be doing anything like that. It's kind of funny, like today, most of the comments that we're having seems to be like bugs and things that shouldn't even be happening on the most part. So it's kind of strange that that's happening. So don't really have a solution because, like, to me, like what I'm saying, it seems like a bug. But if it's doing it, like, how often is it doing this? When did it start doing it? Is it something that just started recently? Is it just on one project? Does it do it on every project that you do it on? You know, those are some type of things that might get us thinking about maybe some possible solutions. Matt said, would it be possible for me to email my question to you? I think my question requires a lot of explanation, not big enough fit in the chat box. I will tell you the truth, my friend. I don't do emails like that. I don't do like, the only time I help people with like answering their questions is with my comments and on this live stream. That's it. I don't do emails, don't do private sessions. I don't do any of that stuff, Matt. So if you got a question, if you can't get it into like your chat or a comment on a video, then it's highly unlikely that I would be the right guy for you. If you want to type out something, show images, share your files, like there's better places to go do that. So one of those places is the PowerDirector forum. So I always praise this place because the guys on this forum do great work. So if you search PowerDirector forum, you go here, go to your version of the software, and you can search for topics that have already been talked about. So if you think like you can find it in a search, you can search for it up here, and then it'll give you results of based on your search criteria. If you want to post your own question, you want to share your files, share diagnostic of your computer, share screenshots of what you're doing to help people see what's happening, then you need to register and be logged in to the forum and ask your question here. You will get a response. Like you can see this person right here, they left something today and they got an answer today. This person, you know, complained about the software and they got 9 responses today and 8. And so you're likely to get at least 1 response in the same day. So if you want that type of interaction, you want help, and you're not getting what you want from customer service, this is the best place to go. It is other users of PowerDirector like yourself, like JL. He's great. He answers a lot of questions, and he knows his stuff. There's a bunch of guys on here who are really good and know the ins and outs of the program, and they're really good on like things like your PC and stuff like that, just like my man Peter. So check it out. Yeah, so if you're doing Control T and it's leaving like extra frames, that's, like I said, it's not supposed to do that. It's strange. It's like a bug. I don't know why it's doing that for you. So that might be something that you need to contact customer service on, because it seems like there's something wrong with the program if it's creating 12 frames after you do Control T. That's just supposed to split your clip. It's not supposed to do anything else rather than that. So that's strange. So, like you said, it's going away, it's coming back, going away. That's strange, man. I have no idea. So, for those of you who don't know, he said it's weird because it's happening, then it stops. It's happening and it stops, and I don't know why it's happening. Try contacting customer support on that one. My man Rel C in the place to be says, "Hello, what I missed? You missed everything, bruh. Okay, the whole 9." Look, if you got some time on your hands, you can always scroll through the comments, bruh. But that's things have been happening. Celery, what's up? Celery says, "Oh, hit me up with a $10 super chat." Celery. So thank you, sir. Your videos help me a lot. Best PD channel. Appreciate the love, Celery. All right. Yeah, Peter says post it in the Facebook group. You can do that too. So besides PowerDirector, forum. This is a great place to go. But like Peter said, there's also there's a PowerDirector's users group on Facebook, which is right here. If you go to PowerDirector users, there's great community out here. We got like what, Peter, like 8,000 people that are on this group, and you can go here and ask your questions too. You will get responses on this as well. So you see here, we got Roy sending us a screenshot here with his timeline. He always has the intricate timeline thing going on. We got the questions here from Ben, who needed some help. He got 10 comments, people helping him out. My man, Tomas, Peter, everybody on there helping him out. So my girl Sue reminding everybody about the live stream today, so she's on here leaving her comments. But this users group is great. I'm proud that, I had a hand in starting it off, and, all the people who are contributing to it and helping other people out in the PowerDirector community. So ask here, man. You got a bunch of people, 8,000 people. Somebody might have, run into the same situation as you. And you can see here, just look at the reach. Some of these things, this one reached 159 people. This one, 544. So you see people get their eyes on these things. So right now we're in a chat with, maybe 20, 30 people. But if you post here, you're going to get some eyes on your post, like 356. So people are going to see it, and hopefully somebody will be able to help you out. So thanks for that reminder, Peter. The Binding Builder said, well, I appreciate your help. You're the reason why I use PowerDirector, has given me the ability to start my channel. All right, the Binder Builder 3318. Hey. I'm glad that I was able to help you out, get your channel started, man. One thing that I would tell anybody out there, there might be some people watching right now who do editing, here and there, whatever. Maybe they haven't started their channel. Is just start, just begin. Go from there, learn, get better, learn, improve, try, and keep learning from your mistakes. So I'm glad I was able to, help give you the confidence to use the program to start your channel. Rels, he said the same guy who was helping back in 2008 is still sharing his knowledge on that forum. Yup. Exactly. Crazy, huh? Yeah, the bodybuilder said, yeah, when I do the split, it will take the first frame after the split, and I get 12 frames of that frame. Okay, I can work with it. It's just a bug. Thanks again. Man, it's a pain. I would hate that. Like every time you split, I know you probably hate it, man. I'm sorry. Sorry that's happening to you. I know it's not my fault or anything, but dang, it's got to be frustrating, So let's see here. This has been a very productive chat today. So a few quick things. We got about 11 minutes left on my clock. So I just want to kind of drop some knowledge. So once again, for those of you who don't know, oh, look at that. Look at what we got. PowerDirector has stopped. Look, it shut down on me. It happens to me too, guys. Happens to me too. All right. Let's see here. Let's see what happens when it opens up. So when I open this bad boy up, and I'm going to click on new project. Now it's probably going to say, your thing shut down crazily. Nope. Didn't even give me a message of error or nothing. Now this happened when I clicked on stock content. So let's see what happens this time. Okay, cool. So weird thing here is that And maybe I need to go through the application manager. Maybe that's what it is. But I still show Shutterstock up here, and I shouldn't. They don't have it anymore. Maybe it's because I didn't do the application manager. Let's try that. Always a beautiful thing. Let's see what's in here. If we got some updates. Yep. Definitely got some updates. Got a few. Anybody who does not have Director Suite, I'm going to tell you right now, you're missing out, pal. I love Director Suite. Like, I know I'm just, preaching to the choir. If you got it already, then you must know the beauty and majesty. Audio Director, let me just say, I did a podcast like last weekend, and unfortunately, I forgot to record the audio on my Rodecaster. So I had my mics all going through it and everything was going through my live stream, but for some crazy reason I didn't hit record, right? But I recorded on like 3 different cameras, for the podcast, and I was able to actually get audio from one of the cameras, which was not the best audio. The audio for my podcast through the Rodecaster would have been best, but I was able to use the scratch audio, and I was able to use Audio Director to clean up the audio restoration tool that it has. Wow, beautiful. I love it. It did a great job. Now, was it as good as it would have been if it would have been coming direct out of the Rodecaster? No, it wasn't. But it was acceptable. It was still good. It's a downgrade because of the scratch audio that I was using from the camera, but it was acceptable to use. So I was happy about that. Oh, I'll probably lose my live stream now. Knowing I shouldn't have did that. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll stay on. Who knows? Let me check YouTube, make sure I'm still up. Yeah, I'm still up right now. But I'm not going to do the application manager because last time I did it, it just shut down and destroyed everything. And I wasn't able to do jack Smith. So I'm not going to do the application manager right now. I'm going to leave it alone. I think what happened last time is it like froze my screen. And I think it still did freeze my screen. Look, if I fade it back in, it's frozen. But it's all good. So I'm going to leave that be. Leave it to its own devices. See what's going on here in the chat. The binder builder said it just forces me to watch my stuff before I upload. Hey, that's always a good practice anyway. I don't know how many times I've watched like a video that I edited and I thought that I was done, and I ended up finding something I didn't like or something I messed up on before I uploaded it. So it's always a good practice to watch it anyway. So that's good. Rel C said, I just got hired by my school district and their YouTube videos are horrible. I'm seriously considering pitching them to also hire me as their video guy. Oh, snap. That's great, man. Congratulations, first and foremost, for getting hired by the school district. And you always know they always have like a tech guy that works at the school. That should be you anyway. I mean, with your expertise in film and things, I mean, you should be able to snatch that job up pretty easily. And I know you'll kill it for the YouTube videos. So, hey, congratulations, man. Steve says, Malik, I know you've stopped doing tutorials on YouTube, but you should really do a series of short recommended past videos, maybe 4 at a time, as people, for some reason, seem reluctant to search. That probably might be a good idea to just kind of talk through like, hey, here's some recommendations for some videos I've made, kind of help people out. That might be a good idea. I'll think about it, man, but I ain't giving you no promises, Steve Orino. Let's see. You're in dangerous territory, Malik. The last time you played with the updates, the live stream crashed. Exactamundo. That's why I stopped. I was like, nah, let's not do this again. We know what happened last time, pal. I'm going to stick to what I know. And I'm going to let this live stream just do what it do. All right. Let's see. Cyber Editing said, what new features would you like to see in PD22? So I talked about this before, like rotoscoping, probably the number one. If they could do like some type of like automatic removal tool where you can, remove things from the background and in the video and just kind of track that thing and remove it throughout, even with the movement, kind of like rotoscoping, but just, a little different, I guess, execution of that. I would like to see like better color correction tools within PowerDirector itself. I don't mind jumping in and out of Color Director when I need to, but it would be nice to have some other features within PowerDirector too. Those are the main things off the top of my head. Pollyanna said, thanks again for your time to do this live stream. You're welcome, Pollyanna. Always happy to be here with you guys. Rose said, I wouldn't mind being a co-host for any PowerDirector podcast or episodes associated with PD. Hey, I'll take you up on that, man. If I do something like that, I will definitely hit you up. I know how to hit you up on YouTube. So, I got a lot of people who I would love to have on a panel talking about PowerDirector. Peter, my man Tomas, my man Jim Levitt from Sharper Turtle. I would love to do something like that if I decide to do like a PowerDirector podcast or forum, but not a bad idea. I could start doing a PowerDirector podcast straight from this channel if I wanted to. So, the possibilities are endless. That's why I keep doing the live streams, because, I get to interact with you guys, and that's the fun part of doing these things. And a podcast is a lot more fun because you get to have just conversations and just kind of let things flow, just like these live streams. So, hey, who knows? Like I said, you never know what'll happen in the future, man. The channel is still here. It ain't going nowhere. So I got all types of possibilities out there that I could think of. And if I come across something else that I think is going to be worth my time, which is why I stopped doing the tutorials, right? Like, I got a whole bank of tutorials out there, a good amount of them. But, at the end of the day, the return on the investment just wasn't there. It's just down. Everything's just kind of going in the wrong direction on the channel. So who knows, though? The world could change tomorrow. Could be different. Peter said, I'm the opposite. I would like to see PD enhances purely PD and leave the rest to Color Director, Audio Director, and to a lesser degree, Photo Director. Yeah, to each his own. Some people like to have the integration of the tools to be able to jump back and forth. Some would like to not have to jump out at all. Really depends. Rose said, no one else is going to do it, so go for it. Hey, never know, my friend. Never know. All right, guys. It is that time. We are at the witching hour. At least for me, it's the witching hour because I'm about to get the hell out of here. But I thank you all for joining me. Please don't forget to hit that like button, and I will catch you next Wednesday. Peace.